Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. Halftime is over with, and we are on to hour number 3, quarter number 3. Thanks for tuning in and making us a part of your start. And again, just a little PSA. We are aware that the 105.1 FM signal is down right now. The engineers are on the case. They are working on it. You can still tune in to the AM signal 790 and online, sportstalk1051.com, WAYradio.com, YouTube stream, also up and rolling and working. We got the Section 105 chat on there too. It's a good opportunity for you to go check out the video stream. Hey, reminder, next Wednesday we'll be doing the program from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, because Hy-Vee in Eau Claire is going to be doing another free breakfast for veterans and active military members from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Enjoy free breakfast and coffee as they celebrate America's 250th anniversary birthday. So that'll be coming next Wednesday, May 20th. We'll keep you posted on any more rumors in terms of the Packers schedule that gets dropped. We know the official one that was released yesterday. Packers, Rams, Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, Netflix. So I know some of you are upset because it's Netflix, but NFL can pretty much do whatever the heck they want at this point in time. So, but, some of the rumors out there regarding the Packers schedule, the one that we were just talking about, something that's out there is Packers at Chicago for Christmas Day. So, hopefully not. Many family members are maybe houses divided for Christmas, because Christmas should be a happy time and such. So hopefully there's not too many families that are house divided between Packers and Bears. Although this would be the first Packers-Bears Christmas one. I remember watching one, over 10 years ago. Because Packers just dominated that game. But it was a night one at Lambeau Christmas Day, and that was a good Christmas, but this one, obviously, considering what happened last year and some of the stuff that's going on, that'd be a little bit more of a, let's just say anxious type of game. We've got Brewers back at it tonight, or this afternoon, taking on the Padres, 12:40 first pitch. We've got Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Brewers. The Brewers hopefully can bounce back after last night's disappointing finish, because Jacob Mizorowski was just cruising and adding another notch to his belt of impressive outings. Okay, so there's been talk. We've talked elite or A status with Miz. Is it too early? Let's erase the title of ace, because I think we could say ace. Now, is it too early, or can we say he's elite?
Ooh.
Is the Miz elite, people? Or is it still too early? Now, when we say elite, let's put comparisons out there. Would you say Paul Skeens is elite?
Yes.
Would you say, when he's healthy, Tariq Skubal's elite?
Yes.
Is Mizorowski elite, or is it too early?
Boy.
I'll throw it out to the rest of you. Hit me up or hit us up, 715-830-1912, or chime in on that video stream, chat room too.
I would almost say not yet. Not quite. Mm-hmm. The thing about Paul Skeens and Skubal is they captivate whenever they are on the mound. So you're almost waiting every 5 days because you want to watch them pitch, and I don't think Mizorowski's there yet. Now, he's on that trajectory. He's got to stay healthy, and we've got to see more of, like we saw yesterday, where he can get later into games. but I don't think he is yet.
Okay. Just by Paul Skeens, by the way, dude's on a tear here. Last 2 games, he's gone 8 innings and has only allowed 2 hits in those 2 games each. And not that long ago, he had a no going, perfect game going against the Brewers too. That's elite. That's 100% elite there. I want to. This is a classic. My heart says, duh, he's elite. My head is trying to take the cautious approach, if you will, and be like, don't jump the gun. I you know what? I'm teetering towards elite. I might teeter towards elite with the mid. It's early, definitely, but dude's got some insane stuff. Insane stuff. I'm gonna go with elite. I'm gonna go with elite. I think I could definitely get the thought that it's too early. Totally get that. Totally understand it. Agree with a lot of it, but what he's doing right now is elite.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right? He hasn't given up a run in 3 starts.
Yeah. So that's where I'm yeah, he's elite. And right now, I know there's probably Brewers fans saying, sign him. But if you're Jacob Misiorowski, you may be saying, no, thank you. And that comes with risks too, right? It does. It's probably the same reason that Paul Skeens has not re-signed with the Pirates, right? I'm going to wait because when I do hit free agency, I'm going to cash in. Of course, we want the Brewers. And I think a lot of people are just operate under the assumption that the Brewers are the ones not doing this. And maybe they are. Maybe they have an approach. I don't know. But I guarantee you, Misiorowski's probably being told, whether it's by his agent or such, don't sign anything. Don't handcuff yourself to a Freddie Peralta type of contract from the Brewers, right? Just do your thing. He's going to get pay raises from arbitration and all these other pay performance standards. But once he hits the market, and if he's pitching at the level he is right now, dude is going to be one of the highest paid players in Major League Baseball. Does it come with a risk? 100%. Everything comes with a risk, right? You don't sign now, you don't have that financial stability. Each to their own. I think it's easy for us as fans to tell the player, yeah, sign. So you have that stability. We also come from the angle that it'll be cheaper and it'll help our team. But this is also business side of thing. And I guarantee you there's probably some people don't sign a thing right now. Your stock is super high and you keep this up. Even if he has a Tommy John surgery, I think that stock's still going to be high for him. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if I was his agent, I'd say no. Unless the Brewers are going to sign you to what starting pitchers, aces are going right now, you don't sign a team-friendly deal at this point.
Well, and the problem is what is the deal for an ace, right? Because Paul Skeens, free agent soon. Skubal, free agent soon.
And they're going to reset it. And the other weird thing, too, though, is there going to be a labor dispute?
Yeah.
I know everybody's going to want a salary cap. And I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. And somebody, I was on a field trip chaperoning my kids' school trip to the Minnesota Science Museum. Holy crap, that's a lot of kids in there. But anyways, that was a zoo. But, the thought is, okay, if the Dodgers win it all again this year, is that going to, influence, the talks? It could, but then I brought up, look at the Mets, though. They spent a lot and they stink. Mm-hmm. That could be the argument. If I'm the Dodgers, that's my argument is like, well, look at the Mets. They spent a lot and they're not doing a darn thing right now. They're not winning games. And if a team like the Brewers, I don't know how the season's going to finish out, but, the Brewers are going to be a team that I guarantee you, too, that high-spending teams are going to say, Brewers win a lot of games and they don't spend money. It's not just about spending money. Now, I wouldn't completely agree with that, but that's going to be an argument that those teams are going to use, right? So I think the worst thing that's happening for these smaller payroll teams is what's going on with the Mets, a team that has spent a lot and they just stink. They're not winning any games because that is going to hurt their case against teams like the Dodgers, I think.
Well, and in just labor disputes, like you said, just again, if the Dodgers can point to the Mets, then what can the MLB say, right? Because the Mets spend a lot of money too. I know the Dodgers spend more, but it's about finding the right players more than just paying it out.
Because the total payroll, and I get it that a lot of deferred money from the Dodgers factors into this, but the Mets have the highest payroll this year. Their total payroll, $334 million, $848,286. The Dodgers are $297. Mets are the only team over $300 million. The Brewers have the 20th highest payroll, $127, $830,619. So what the Mets in their 17-25 record are doing is not helping the case against like the Dodgers. Now, Braves, who are a really good team this year, have the 6th highest payroll. So that's factored in there too. But I think a lot of people thought the Braves were going to be decent this year. I don't think they thought they were going to get off to this hot of a start this year.
Yeah, so, injuries last year.
Yeah. Of the top 10 teams for payroll right now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams under 500. Mets, Toronto, who has the 4th highest payroll, they're 19-24. Actually, I miscounted. I think it's 5 because Philly, but they're playing better now.
Yeah.
Houston, and then Detroit. So it's 5-5. Detroit's 19-24. And I guarantee you that's probably going to come up in these. Well, you look at the top 10 if it plays out this way, let's say. Well, you look at the top 10, half of them were under 500, half of them over 500. This is what you're going to get. It's going to go back and forth with this whole thing.
And I know it's only so far down you can go, but the next 5, 10 through 16 to the next 6 are all under 500. Mm-hmm. So the Brewers at 20 have a better, and the Reds at 19 have a better record than most of the teams inside the top 20.
Well, heck, look at Cleveland, who has the 2nd.
Yeah.
They're 24-21.
The A's.
They have $80 million in payroll. That's it. Hell, the Marlins are 20-23, and they're least, and they're still better record. Well, the White Sox are 500. The Athletics, look at that, is not helping the case for some of these teams.
Yep.
My argument against that would be like, okay, postseason though. Mm-hmm. That's where I think the money spending helps these teams, like the Dodgers.
The problem is when you have a 162-game season, the postseason's it's a big part of the year, but it's a small part of the season. Mm-hmm. So trying to fight for that, it'll be interesting. I do think there'll be a lockout, but it's going to be interesting because, again, like you said, the Dodgers just win games with their payroll, and the Mets just can't figure out how to win games.
No. And then maybe it goes to the opposite, or not the opposite, but the other side of the spectrum. And this kind of goes maybe related to the Brewers too. Because I think there is a thought, or it used to be a thought a few years ago, how much does a manager have influence on wins in on a Major League Baseball team? And people have talked about that, debated about it, wondered. And I think there's been conversations of, okay, between hockey, basketball, football, and baseball, which sport has the coach that has the most influence? Like, where's coaching the most important? And I think baseball kind of tended to get lower on that list. But maybe you look at this and, okay, are the Mets' issues coaching or spending money in the wrong spots? Mm-hmm. Dodgers spend a lot of money and they win. Maybe we give Dave Roberts more credit for that. But then you look at the Brewers. I think Pat Murphy should get a lot of credit for how much they have had success over the years. Stephen Vogt with Cleveland as well. Pat Murphy's not the only 2-time back-to-back manager of the year current right now. Stephen Vogt is too in the American League. I think if there's one thing, we're seeing the importance of managers when it comes to baseball too.
I think it also depends on just the age of your roster because, like, you look at the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman doesn't need a lot of coaching. Mookie Betts doesn't need a lot of coaching. And so they're going to do what they need to do because they're experienced players. But then you come down to the Brewers, and they don't have a lot of veterans. I mean, Mizorowski's their veteran pitcher.
Besides Woodruff.
Besides Woodruff. Right? So then you do need the manager to kind of be that leader and teach. I mean, we talked about how Pat Murphy last year benched players for getting picked off. You need that on these smaller markets.
The accountability.
Yeah. So
it's going to be. I think this is going to be the rest of this season is going to be an interesting case study to see the teams that make the playoffs, and then how far they advance in the playoffs. At this point in time, it might be for the future of this, for the immediate future. The worst thing that could happen is if a small payroll team wins the World Series, right? It's just because it's the immediate. Mm-hmm. We could say, well, look at the last few years, but it's the immediate one. It's the most recent example. If one of these teams, let's say Tampa Bay, who's 24th on it, they're 14 games above 500. What if Tampa Bay wins the World Series this year? The Dodgers are going to be, well, we're down that we didn't win it, but you know what? We're ecstatic because you cannot use the case that it's payrolls that mean anything. Mm-hmm. Some will say, well, look at the list. Doesn't matter. Who just won now? Right? I mean, that might be like the second best scenario for the Dodgers. If they don't win it, is a team like Tampa Bay winning it. And
it's baseball, so any team can win it because baseball is unpredictable and it's hard to hit a fastball at 102. So
yeah. All right, we got plenty more to get to here. We got to take a quick break before we get to Jake here in about 10, 15 minutes. Last call for any questions for Mr. Boakes. Please text those on over to us at 715-830-1912. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Dings, dents, or something more serious, don't stress. Just head to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. So I know we got to get to Jake here in about 10 minutes or so. We were talking about Mizorowski, elites, and that sort of thing. What if we expand it back to, or what if we expand it to the entire team? How many elite players do the Brewers have? How many players on this Brewers team would you consider elite?
Well, I think William Contreras is one of the best catchers in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd give William Contreras that. So and then we'll throw Mizorowski in there. So there's two. Honestly, I may say right now that's it.
Yeah.
Jackson Churrio's really good, but is he elite yet?
Okay, so maybe that's the next one. Is Jackson Chourio?
Bryce Turang. 3. Bryce Turang is elite, yes.
Yeah, I would say Bryce Turang. Yep. Bryce Turang, Contreras, Mizorowski. Honestly, those are probably your best three for all-star nods this year so far. And maybe some of it is because Jackson Chourio missed a big portion to begin the season and such. Okay. So ponder this for a little bit, Brewers fans, and I want to hit this up when we have a little bit more time, too, before we get to Jake here. Is Jackson Chourio elite? Yay or nay? Not yet. Not quite. No. Yes. However you want to describe it. Is Chourio elite? And do you agree? If he's not, do you agree that the three that you would consider elite is Miz, Contreras, and
Turang.
Thank you. My new guy, Turang. I love watching that guy play. I think the best compliment, one of the best compliments that you can give any baseball player, whatever, is when you just say, that dude's a ball player. It may sound very generic. It may sound very minute or blah. But I think when you say that dude's a ball player, that's what I think about like Bryce Turang. Mm-hmm. He's not like me showcase. You know, he's a very quiet dude. And when I was at that game on Sunday, I was like, for whatever reason, I'm like, I just want to watch Terang. Like when he's on defense, he's right in front of me. How does he go about it? You know, where does he line up? And it's just how he approaches the game, how he plays the game. And I think I have a soft spot for guys or for anybody when they continue to ascend and just get better and better and better every year. And that's Terang. He has gotten so much better every single year. And I think that's just, I've got that soft spot for him. So
yeah, I'll admit a couple years ago, I didn't know if he was going to be in the MLB.
So I just, like I said, I got to add some Terang cards to the collection because I have a whopping zero Bryce Terang.
Problem.
I will admit, I did order just a plain rookie off of eBay for like $1. So I got to get one to put in the sleeves on the man cave wall, but I need to up the collection, like the Skeens or the free look one I've got. So, all right, so let's get to Jake. So we'll switch gears here, but think about that for a little bit, Brewers fans. Is Churio elite? Okay, is he elite? And do you agree that the other three are? Yay or nay? All right. We'll take a quick break and we'll chat some outdoors with Mr. Jake Boakes coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it is time to get outdoors, to make some memories, and to be ready for whatever the season brings you. That's where Tilden Gun comes on in. Whether you're gearing up for target practice or heading to the range or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything you need, all backed up by a knowledgeable service that you could trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy, it's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the outdoors, be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. It is time for some outdoor chat with our guy, Mr. Jake Boakes. Good Thursday morning to you, Jake. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Another Thursday, another sunny day, so no complaints. How about yourself?
You know, not bad, man. Just, busy. We got Little League. I was doing a field trip with the kids yesterday, so I'll tell you what, I'm ready for the weekend.
Summer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Summer stuff. Yeah, I hear you. With I got T-ball starting and all that kind of jazz. It's fun. But you're right. It's busy, ready for the weekend, and looks like it's getting warm, so I'm sure it'll be great for fishing.
That's what I was like. I want to get outside and do some. Well, I am outside with baseball. I want to do some fishing yet. I haven't been able to do that, so but we'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there. So
yeah, sounds like people are catching fish. Little here, little there, doing pretty all right, and the water levels have kind of evened out. So not a bad time to get out and get the lines wet.
Yeah, no doubt. So, okay, before we get into some wildlife stuff with fishing, obviously we're a couple weeks into this thing and that. So, I guess from what you have heard, it's been good for a lot of people. Is it certain species or just good in general? Yeah,
just good in general. Don't get me wrong. There's always times you're going to go out there and catch one or two fish, and you're hoping for 20. Or you go out hoping to catch one and you catch 50. It's just how it goes. It's fishing. But with the water levels kind of evening out and coming down, people are able to get to more spots. The fish aren't everywhere anymore. The muskie season's open, so there's just been a lot more muskie fishermen out in that northern zone, which is now the state zone, and stuff like that. So overall, I've heard overall a positive start to the year.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, it's also that time of year, Jake, too, that, new wildlife coming into the world, right? Fawns and such, and maybe a lot of people have been noticing them and such. And, probably a good reminder, maybe specifically for the fawns and that, don't touch them if you see them, right?
Don't touch them. Yeah, whether it's a fawn, whether it's a baby robin, whether it's an owl, whether it's a bear, just don't touch them. Leave them alone. The slogan they started sharing a few years ago was "Keep Wildlife Wild," and it is the best course of action. So, anytime you find a wild animal, unless it's like a fawn that was born on the middle of I-94, our interference is only going to make it worse. Like, even with our best intentions, we're going to make it worse. So, animals have developed over millions of years, thousands of years to grow without human intervention. So if you find that baby fawn in your landscaping, leave it there. You won't see the mom. The mom will come back in the evening and move it, grab it, feed it. If it's still there for a couple of days, it means they feel safe there, and they're feeding it at night and leaving. It's very common. Get a lot of calls on it, and I'd rather get a call than get someone bringing me a deer. If you have something, you have questions, you don't know, call our general information line, call our tip line, or call your local warden, because I'd rather have this conversation with someone or a family member than have it brought to the office. We already had one brought to the Menominee office where someone brought a fawn into the office and said, what do I do with it? And what we're going to tell you is to bring it back exactly where you found it, because that's where the mom knows it's at. That's where the mom left it at. So do not move it. Leave it where it's at, because we're going to have you bring it back to wherever you found that animal.
All right. Yeah. Is there any other, is fawns kind of the main thing, or have you seen instances with maybe other newborn animals and such, like rabbits or whatever?
I think fawns are the most common because they're bigger, and it's a fawn and it's a deer and such. But we definitely see and hear about it for everything, baby birds, rabbits, owls, any of those animals that fall out of their nest, and then, whether it was intentional or unintentional, if they fall out of their nest and then they're not ready to fly yet, they're going to be hopping around a lot. And they will survive. They're just not going to be in the nest. They're going to be in the bushes. They're going to be in the long grass. They're going to find somewhere else to hide and rebuild, maybe not rebuild that nest, but, grow them up somewhere else that's not in the nest. So if you take a robin away from its mom, we're not going to have a rehabilitator that's going to be able to do much with that. Same with baby rabbits, same with squirrels, same with everything. If there's a mom in the area, if there's a nest you can put it back into, if that needs to be the case, those are all the best options. And then there just aren't a ton of rehabilitators. So the rehabilitation process, everyone thinks if you grab a baby animal, there's going to be some place to bring it. But unfortunately, there's not. They're not really funded federally or by the state. A lot of rehabbers do stuff on their own, which is their own expenses with everyone understands inflation and how everything's extremely expensive these days. So it's harder to find rehabbers. Some of them that are licensed through the state or the feds can only get certain animals and only a certain amount of animals. So, there might be one place over on the east side of the state that takes fawns, but they're probably already full, or they will be full in a week or two. So, it doesn't pay to pick that animal up, even if there is a rehabber, because it's probably full. So it's just really important to just let wildlife be wild and let nature take care of nature. And sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's an unfortunate outcome, but that is the way nature is.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know, like, a lot of times, if I'm on the golf course, and I've heard other golfers talk about this, they'll, hit a golf ball under a tree, and, you end up running into a fawn over there and such. Mom's not far, right? I mean, so mom's not far. So even though it looks like the fawn's by itself and maybe abandoned, mom's probably already watching you. Right.
100%. And if they're not, they're off into the woods, eating or just trying to keep those predators away. I mean, that's what they're doing, is just trying to be a distraction, leave their fawn in a safe spot. On the Keep Wildlife Wild thing, we do get a lot of calls for, like, birds of prey, raptors, falcons, stuff like that, eagles, owls that people see on the sides of roads and yards, on the hillside, and they're not flying. They look otherwise healthy, but they're just standing there, or you go up to them and they just kind of hop away. That isn't an injured animal. Basically, all that animal needs to do is pass a pellet or go to the bathroom, because they overindulge, they overate, they're engorged, and they literally just can't fly because they need to go to the bathroom. So if you see birds like that, you don't need to call the DNR or a rehabilitator. Just give them 24 hours, and I can guarantee you by the time you come back the next day, they're going to be gone because they flew away.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jake, also, too, kind of just looking at some of the other stuff that's going on right now. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, but it seems like it's popping up more. Still recruitment going on for the 2026 warden class, too, it looks like?
Yeah, yep. I think that opened about a couple weeks ago. It should be closing here pretty soon. But the 2027, this is the hiring for the 2027 class. I think we're hiring somewhere between 13 and 16, which is a pretty big class. Usually we're around that 7 to 10 mark. It's open now. The hiring process will be throughout the year. So if you want to be a warden, you've been training to be a warden, whatever the case, don't leave your day job right now, because the hiring process takes all the way through October, November. You get the applications in, and then there's some pre-screening part of the application, and then there's fitness and interviews and maybe second interviews and then a background process. So it takes a while, which is pretty normal in any sort of law enforcement hiring process. But if you ever thought about it, now's the time to put on, even if you're not 100% ready. It's really good to get into the process, because a state hiring process as well as a conservation warrant hiring process is unique than a private company or your classic business. There's different steps, there's state laws, there's state benchmarks, and different just ways that the interviews are done, where it's just good to get in and start getting experience, because most wardens don't get hired their first year. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4 times trying to actually get hired.
I know it's a couple weeks away yet, but maybe just a good reminder, too, if you do want to go try to get a tag for elk in Wisconsin. That deadline's coming up on May 31st, right? Yep,
end of the month. It's good that you bring that up. I was at a DNR instructor appreciation dinner last week, on Monday. Jeez, time flies, or doesn't fly maybe. They had one of the elk biologists from up north come down and talk with everyone on the elk and stuff like that. And they went over the seasons. And this year, especially down in like that Black River herd, there's a lot of changes. There's more cow tags, which we did have some last year, but there's going to be more cow tags from what I understand, as well as with the new elk management plan, they're able to kind of select different zones of that southern herd where they can target harvest, and usually that has to do with where they're having a lot of agricultural damage, especially for the cows. So when you go in to put in your cow tag and even your bull tag application, you can put in 2 of them this year, so spend $20 instead of 10, and then you also have to pick a zone, and they provide maps and stuff like that, and all the zones have a bunch of county and public land, state land in it. So either way, you're not going to go wrong. But it's going to be different if you've ever just paid the $10 and put your name in the hat. Now you're going to pick a zone and pick a sex and all that kind of stuff, which can seem complicated because it's new, but that's a really good thing because it's a management tool, as well as it means there's a lot more. It gives opportunity for more tags, for more hunters, for more harvest. So instead of, 4 or 5 years ago, now we're shooting up to 12 animals down there potentially.
Right. Yeah. I got to get mine in there yet too. So I'm glad that's a good reminder in that too. So.
Yeah. The biologist was all jazzed up, real happy on it and excited. He got me all excited where I was sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, I got to put in. So all right then and there, I pulled out my DNR account and I was like, well, spend another $20 here.
Hey, good. So, honestly, when you look at it though, too, $20 is not. I don't want to kind of down. It's not that bad, right?
It's not, but $20 over 10 years is what, $200. I mean, to get a preference point in some out west states is $600. Mm-hmm. $900 plus the fees of the license plus this if you actually get picked. So putting a couple hundred in over a decade and potentially pulling it and probably having better odds than out west, it's kind of worth it. But you never know. But to each their own,
Right. Yeah, definitely. So I think that's a heck of a good deal too.
I'll drink a couple less beers at the bar one night and pay it, even out my my bull tag there, my application fee.
When you put it in perspective like that, Jake, it just makes a lot more sense in the world. When you make it, when you put it that way.
Two less than golden.
Yep. Hey, before I let you go, I know it's, we're getting close to Memorial Day weekend too, and such, and with spring and summer around the corner, maybe a good reminder for people to get those registrations up to date with, like, for 4-wheelers and UTVs and such.
Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of trail systems that open tomorrow. Jackson County, Clark County, Eau Claire County, I think Chippewa. One of them's already open. I apologize. I don't know it off the top of my head. But anyways, by the end of this weekend, or by this weekend, most trail systems in the area, in this general area, will all be open. So UTV riding, ATV riding, is gonna get going. So you're right, 100%. Get your ATVs registered, get your boats registered, get your UTVs registered, get helmets. There are, and maybe we can hit on this next week, because we're running out of time, but there are a bunch of ATV, UTV changes this year, where there's going to be some more rules on window tint and eye protection and different stuff like that. Seat belts, a bunch of safety changes. So it's definitely going to be a good year to rip open those regulations and make sure what you're doing on your ATV, UTV is legal, or you have the correct gear.
Good note. Yeah, let's hit that up next week for sure. So especially before Memorial Day weekend. That's a good one. So,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. He's Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. Dude, as always, appreciate the time. Try to enjoy the weather. Enjoy the rest of the week. And we'll catch up with you next week, buddy.
It'll be nice. I'll be out and about patrolling this weekend, and it looks beautiful, so I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks. Yep, see ya.
You got it. There you go. There's Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden. Reminder every Thursday, you can send in those text messages or questions to us so we can get those to Jake. Just send them through the Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up hour 3. We'll be right back after these few words. All right, just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. Then we're going to be on to the final quarter here this morning. So, reminder, we'll since we got some more time coming up in the next hour, we'll hit this up. Just kind of a fun question. Do you consider right now Jackson Cheerio elite? Yay or nay? Also coming up in the final hour with the schedule getting released today, what do you look for? What's the main things? What are the top things that you look for when it comes to the schedule? We know the teams. We know whether they're home and away. But what is it that you are looking for? So we do have some rumors out there surrounding the Packers schedule. But if you're not a Packers fan and you want to chime in with your favorite team, please do so. All right. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit. Want to hit those up in the final hour here because we only have a few minutes left until the top. Plus, don't forget, it is a Takeover Thursday. So if you have a topic in mind that you would like to throw out there, what is it? One of them is from our intern Carter, too. Who is the next Brewer that is most likely to get a Christian Yelich type deal? Not on the roster yet. Otherwise, I would say, I know who I would want, but I don't think it's going to happen. Bryce Turang. I think they've got Jesus Mate. They've already said. I think signing Cooper Pratt to that term almost just like kind of put, lack for a better phrase, a nail in the coffin of Bryce Turang because of Jesus Mate also there too. Unless they're not sold on third base options and Mate can convert or whatever. But I know who I'd want, but I don't think it's going to be Turang.
Yeah,
I would love it for it to be Turang, and Contreras obviously is there too, but they're very high on Jefferson Guerrero, so I think he's going to be the next one up. But I don't know.
The catcher, the Contreras one is interesting to me just because he does so much for the pitchers.
Yep.
That I don't know if Caro does that for the pitchers.
I know Pat Murphy loves Jefferson. The franchise loves him, and I'd hate to see. keep them all. I want Contreras. I want Terang. I want Frelick. I want all those guys. It's just, I don't think any of them
What about the Miz? Too much money, you think, for that?
I don't think they can afford him. I would love it. I just don't think. And I look at their history with pitchers. The Brandon Woodruff thing from this last year with the option is just an abnormal sort of thing. They've done it with Braun. They've done it with Yelich. I feel like if there was a player that they're going to invest a lot in, it's going to be a position player. And I don't think their approach is doing that with pitchers, especially with the depth that they continue to build up now too.
So if the Brewers offered you like what's Yelich, like $350 million over 10 years, if they offered that to Mizraski, you think he'd say no?
Right now, I don't think he would.
Okay.
But I don't think the Brewers would ever do that to a pitcher. I think if they were going to, I think they're going to do that to a position player.
Yeah.
And it honestly has not worked out the greatest with position players when they've locked them up long term too. Right? I mean, look at Bronny. And I don't fault the Brewers for doing those. Now everybody kind of looks back at them and saying, whoa, those were bad deals. But at the same time, we were celebrating the Yelich one.
Yeah.
We were geeked up. And yeah, Yelich has had some really good moments, but you can't dismiss the injuries that have really kind of affected that career. Man, what if? You look at that when he broke his kneecap. Gosh, you just kind of wonder how much that set back a lot of things. So, all right, we got to take a quick break because we've got Shot Clock giving us a 1-minute warning. So, again, send us your Takeover Thursday topics. Send us your Enough is Enough. What's a sports story, narrative, whatever that's out there where you're just like, enough is enough. What are you looking for? What are some of the things you always look for when it comes to the schedule release? For the Pat, we'll officially get the full schedule later on today. We have leaks out there. We have rumors that are out there. The only thing that is officially official is that Rams game. But we'll take a look at that, and then we'll get back to Brewers, Padres as they wrap up this series in just a few hours with Kyle Harrison on the mound. And then they go just across the border to play the Minnesota Twins. I would imagine a lot of you probably making the trek over to Target Field. I wish I was too. I wish I was able to go over there, and I enjoy going to Target Field. It's a really nice ballpark. But all right, Shot Clock's here.